Welcome once again in the class of topology, and as you know, we are doing nowadays chapter of compactness covering. So more and more theorems we are going with today. The first theorem what I am going to take today is this theorem. Just note down the theorem and then we will move on to the proof. The theorem is a topological space is T2, that means Hausdorff, if and only if disjoint compact sets can be separated by disjoint open sets. So this is the theorem, and before moving on to the proof, let us see what diagrammatically the theorem is trying to say. So what it is saying, that we are having a topological space X top, and if in this topological space you have any pair of disjoint compact sets, so that means there is a compact set A, there is a compact set B, and they are disjoint. For any such pair, you will always have a pair of disjoint open sets. So there will be a open set G, there will be an open set H. G will contain A, H will contain B, and intersection of G and H will also be as G and H must be disjoint. So this is the theorem, and the converse is also true. That means if the condition is holding, then your space is Hausdorff. If it is Hausdorff, then this condition is there, and if the condition is holding, then the space is Hausdorff. That is what we want to prove. So now, after looking the diagram of this theorem, the statement, we will move on to the proof. So first, let X top be Hausdorff space. Let it be a Hausdorff space, and we want to show that if we are having a pair of disjoint compact set, then we will have a pair of disjoint open sets containing them. So let A B be a pair of disjoint compact sets in this topological space X. So choose one fixed point from the first set. So let A belonging to A be a fixed element of A, and in the other set B, take any arbitrary element X. So let X belonging to B be arbitrary element of B. From A we are having fixed element, from B we are having arbitrary element. Now what to do? Now look that the element A belongs to the set A, the element X belongs to the set B, and A intersection B is phi. That means A cannot be equal to X. A and X are distinct elements, and these two are the elements of the topological space X, which is Hausdorff. And if in a Hausdorff space you are having two distinct elements, there will definitely be a pair of disjoint open sets containing them. So therefore, there exist open sets GA and HA such that A belongs to GA, X belongs to HA, and GA intersection HA is phi. Now X was arbitrary element. You will change the element X, the sets G and HA will change. So what you have to do? You have to collect all sets HA for different X in B. So consider the collection HA for different X of the set B. So you can name these as HX and GX also, because here it will be easy to identify the set HX with respect to this X. So I am just changing the names GX and HX just for the sake of identifying the sets HX. And this collection, I am naming this collection as C. HX is an open set, we know it is an open set, and for every X belonging to B we are having this HX, and this HX is containing X. So that means this collection will be an open cover of the set B, because every HX is an open set. So then this C is an open cover of B. But what about B? Our sets A and B are both compact. So B is also compact. So but B is compact, and since B is compact, by definition of compact sets, every open cover must have a finite subcover. So C is also an open cover, it must have a finite subcover. So therefore there exists a finite subcover. I am naming it as C star. So there exists a finite subcover C star, and this is a subcover of C. So the elements of C star will be from C, and the number of members of C star will be finite. So these HX, so I am taking them as HX1, HX2 and so on, HXN. So there exists a finite subcover C star of C. Now this C star is a finite subcover of C, and C was open cover of B. So that means members of C star will cover B. So what it means? It means union of these HXI's, I vary from 1 to n, this union will cover B. And corresponding to each HX there is a GX. So corresponding to HX1 there will be GX1, corresponding to HX2 there will be GX2, corresponding to HXN there will be GXN. So what we have to do in the next step, consider the intersection of all those GXI's, I vary from 1 to, and that means corresponding to HX1 there is GX1, corresponding to HX2 there is GX2, corresponding to HXN there is GXN, and we are taking intersection of those GX1, GX2 and GXN. And I am naming these two new sets as HA and GA. Why HA and GA? Because these HXI's and these GXI's, they are coming by choosing the fixed element A, small a, from the set A. So I am naming it as HA and GA. Definitely, since GXA, GXI, GX1 contains A, GX2 contains A, GX3 contains A, each one is containing A. So that means this intersection GA will also contain A. So A belongs to GA. B is a subset of HA and A belongs to GA. So this is there. And now what we are to do now? Now reverse the process. Earlier what we did, we have taken the open cover of the set B, and from compactness of B we have obtained the finite subcover of that open cover. Now this A was element of A. Here one thing is sure, that since each HXI and GXI is disjoint, so union of situation is like this. Look at HX1, here you are having this A is fixed, so each of these GXI will contain A. You will change the point X here. This is your B. For some point you are having this HX1, HX2, HX3, HX4, HX5. Your HXs are here. Your HXs are here. But your corresponding GXs, they are here. Each one is containing A. Each one is containing A. Each one. The situation is like this. When you will take finite union of these, that will definitely be a cover of B. But situation will be something like this. On the other hand, intersection will become a smaller set, something like this. Since each of GXI's intersected with corresponding HXI's will give you empty set, so the intersection of all GXI's, that means GA, and HA on the other hand, they will also be disjoint. So that means your HA intersection GA is phi. This is very much clear. Now, what you are to do in the next step, you have fixed that element A. Now for every A belonging to the set A, there is GA. And now collect all these GAs. So consider the collection, this collection GA for every A belonging to the set A, and name it as C1. One more thing, that each of these HXI's and each of these GXI's, they are open sets. So finite union of open sets is an open set, so HA is open. Finite intersection of open sets is open, so GA is also open. So each of these GA is open. And for every A belonging to A, you are having some GA. So that means their union will cover A. So this C1 is an open cover of A's. Consider this collection. Note that this C1 is an open cover of A. Open because every GA is open, and cover because for every A belonging to A you are having GA, such that A belongs to GA. So the union of GA will definitely cover the whole set A. Corresponding to each GA there is some HA. This point is to be kept in mind because we are going to use it in the next step. Now C1 is an open cover of A, and A is also a compact set. If A is a compact set, then every open cover of A must have a finite subcover. So this open cover C1 must also have a finite subcover. So therefore there exists a finite subcover C1 star, and it is a finite subcover of C. So members will come from C. So these GAs will be here, and I'm naming these sets at GA1, GA2 and so on up to GAM this time. Earlier I had taken N, now I am taking the suffix M. Finite number of members may change. So this C1 star, GA1, GA2 and GAM, this is a finite subcover of C1, and C1 was open cover of A. So that means union of members of C1 star will cover the set A. So what you are going to have in the next step, you are having that the union of these sets, then union of these GAIs, I vary from 1 to M this time, it covers A. It covers A. And corresponding to each GAI, there is HAI, definitely. Here we are having union of all GAIs. So obviously you must have understood that what we are going to do in the next step, we are taking intersection of corresponding HAIs. So HAIs intersection, I vary from 1 to M. Since each HA is containing B, so their intersection will also contain B. And name this set as G, name this set as H. Finite union of open sets is an open set, so G is open. Finite intersection of open sets is an open set, so H is also open. So there are two open sets, G and H. G contains A, H contains B, and G intersection with H is phi. Why? Because each GAI intersected with corresponding HAI is phi. That means GAIs and HAIs are disjoint. So since GAIs and HAIs are disjoint, so union of GAIs and intersection of HAIs will also be disjoint. So these are the disjoint sets. So there exists a pair of disjoint open sets G and H such that your G is containing A, your H is containing B, and their intersection is phi, and this implies that your sets A and B are separated by a pair of disjoint open sets. For the converse part, it will take just 2 minutes. The converse part is very easy. Conversely, we will suppose that the given condition holds. That means every pair of disjoint compact set is can be separated by a pair of disjoint open sets. And what we have to show that? We have to show that the topological space is Hausdorff. For Hausdorff space, let X and Y be two distinct elements of X. Now X and Y are distinct elements of X. Consider the singleton set X and the singleton set Y. They are definitely, their intersection will be phi. On the other hand, they are finite sets, and we know that finite sets are compact, so these sets are compact. So we are having a pair of disjoint compact sets, and since every pair of disjoint compact sets can be separated by disjoint open sets, this is given, so there definitely exist open sets G and H such that this set X is contained in G, this set Y is contained in H, and G intersection H is already phi. Now the set contained in G means the element X belongs to G. This set Y is contained in H, that means the element Y belongs to H. So for distinct elements X and Y, you are having open sets G and H such that X belongs to G, Y belongs to H, and G intersection H is phi, which means the topological space is Hausdorff. So I am going to stop this video here. In the next video, we will have more and more theorems on compactness. Till then, thank you once again.